Oh, sick it now. I know my dogs are watching, and if you ain't, you will be. And if you are watching and you ain't my dog yet, you will be, because I'm Sleeve and I'm here to help you get busy living. Tonight, it's about worrying too much. Man, like if you've suffered a loss or you've been disappointed recently, or like how to stay focused and like continue trying to be productive. Like it's not, it ain't always easy, y'all. It ain't always easy. And believe me, I've been going through it. But first, since nothing is worth having if it ain't worth sharing, allow me to introduce my co host, my co pilot, and my other better half on this whole journey. I heard you laughing. I can hear you laughing.
I'm not muted.
Ladies and gentlemen, the dynamic D-Rex. Dun, 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 dun.
I am always back here laughing. There's never a time I'm not laughing when you introduce me. It was just a little louder this week.
Really?
And hello to you. And hello to people who are already here. Please tell us who you are in the comments. If we can't obviously see who you are, we're just so happy when you guys show up here every week with us. It's just amazing. It's amazing to us. We were just discussing how much we were happy to see you guys show up every week. And we're just so grateful and so thankful for it. Happy to see you.
For real. No, honestly, we've been doing this now, D-Rex. We already had a conversation about how the original thought came up upon us about a year ago, as far as us, doing this together. And like really up to this point, all it's been is us meeting weekly and, inviting some of our friends around. Like there hasn't been this like mass media campaign. There's not this mass social media, project going, although I'm actively intending on making it that. It hasn't been up to this point. And so the folks that have come back each week, and there's a repeating crew, and I love every single one of you guys for it. And I hope that you know that there have been setbacks for me, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Like the setbacks are real, and how do you stay focused on the bigger picture when you've got so many real life setbacks? And like I think the way we talked about it before, D-Rex, was an incessant onslaught.
You had an incessant onslaught of setbacks, yes. And I can't say, I don't know if I've ever really experienced anything like you have. You've had a one after another. And I know that, it's hard to stay positive even when you're just dealing with your normal day-to-day activities. But would you like to maybe tell people about what happened yesterday when you were out on your adventure, your monthly adventure? Should we actually put the banner up? Tell us a little bit about how Project 55 is going.
So this is month 6 of this month or of this year, and there was 4 months last year, so that's 10. That means we're 55 months is the target. We've got 10 down. That leaves us 45 months to go. This month, June, we went to Page. Page was last month. I'm the old news already.
Grab your microphone. You're using your lapel mic today. It's scratching a little bit against you, so just grab it off of your shirt there.
Oh, I don't think that's true. I wonder if it's something else.
Well, something's going. Maybe you have a mouse in your pocket. Maybe you're just happy to see me. Maybe.
Hey, D-Rex, don't get me started. I'm not talking dirty in front of everybody. I kind of do wonder what that sound might be, though. I'm not.
Yeah, it sounds like your microphone's rubbing on something today. So check that out. But Project 55 is Swedes going on an epic adventure every month for 55 months. And tell us about yesterday's adventure.
Yesterday was awesome, man. Seriously awesome. I've got footage for it, and that's one of the reasons that I was mentioning that, because I got so much work to do another time. I got footage from yesterday. JFT, Brother Doug, me, Carol went up to Watson Lake and Prescott with the High Country Adaptive Sports folks.
Before you go any further, try grabbing your cord off of your headphones. I think that's what it is. I think the sound is coming from your headphones today. Yeah, just grab it and keep it away from your shirt. Okay, now go on.
I didn't know that these headphones had a microphone.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, so go ahead and keep talking to us. Just keep it off your shirt.
That's new. Okay. Well,
We learn something every week, guys, and this is live, so you get what you get. Go ahead, tell us about Page, Arizona.
how about that? Is that any different?
Yeah, that's different. That's better.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
See, new headphones. New. So no, it's called Watson Lake up in Prescott, and
Hmm.
wow,
Oh, Prescott.
blown away. I was not. I was like Truman, you've done outdone yourself. You guys see the video, but it was amazing. Like first we went kayaking. Me and brother Doug and Jerry went, and the lake was beautiful. The scenery was beautiful, so serene. What I found out was that my upper body strength ain't nowhere near what it used to be. I get tired super easy, and
Kayaking is tough.
man, if it wasn't for brother Doug, man, I'd still be out there on that lake.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
For
not
real.
easy. It's not easy.
Nah, man. But it was so fun, man. Like it. So this is the first time that I've been able to get into a kayak since I've been injured, and it
Mhm.
ain't easy, man. Like none of this stuff is easy. I'm not even tell you about how I got pee in my mouth today. This paralyzed life is for the fucking birds, man. But like getting us in a kayak yesterday,
Wow.
getting me in a kayak yesterday was not easy. And that was amazing though. Wow. Like in true brother Doug fashion, we pulled off alongside. I got away from all the traffic and got away from the current and the wind, and brother Doug had a couple of Budweisers in his pocket for me. So I was like, bro, so we pulled off to the side, and like the wind was blowing us up against our little trench there. So like we weren't going anywhere. It was like we were both tired from rowing. So it was like so perfect. And he's like, here you go, Swede. Bust out a beer for me. And I was like, man, somehow, some way, this feels like having sex after a wedding. Like we're doing it right. Like we're like, this is
But with your brother?
hey, not having sex with each other after a wedding, just having a beer after we got out there.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
get
I
it. I
couldn't.
get it. Brother Doug is a good guy, and he's always looking out for you. And I
Hell yeah.
saw
That's
I saw him post a bit of the epic kayak ride, and I was jealous of that. And but then it got even more jealousy inducing. Tell us what else you did.
So they got these bikes. You guys saw the bikes, and I've been told that leading up to this that they were going to get some different bikes, and that I was going to be able to sit upright, and it was going to be less of a struggle to get me in there. And so we spent almost half of the bike riding hour trying to get me in this other one, and just figured out that we couldn't do it. It was kind of disappointing, like it was up there in Flagstaff when we couldn't get in. And then I was like, you know,
Mhm.
what, let's
Mhm.
put me in another one of those ones. I've already been in those. And Truman's like, I'm down. So we just popped me over into one of the other bikes, and off I went. And it was badass, man. I honestly thought that there was no way the biking was going to be better than the kayaking, but it was.
It
It
looked
was.
amazing.
It
I'm
was.
very, very jealous. I want to go next
We
time.
are
I
doing
said I
it.
was going to
We are
go the
doing
next
it,
time,
T-Rex.
but
We're doing it.
I
When you come out
know.
this summer, we're doing it. I already talked to Carly and Truman about it. Like this is going to be a regular thing. I was like, bro, I'll bring dates out here. Like I'm telling you, like I'll bring. Yeah, we're going for sure.
Okay,
They do that
I got
location.
putting
That
my bike on my car right now.
absolutely, absolutely, not even joking.
Well,
And
that
even if
looked
you don't get any bike,
amazing, and I cannot wait to actually show some of that footage next week because it really looked epic. And when you're saying you're going on an epic adventure, boy, did that fit the bill.
yeah,
So,
seriously. And
congratulations to you on your 10th Project 55 epic adventure.
yes, and I just want to say hello to Lil Boozy and Sammy. Sammy's showing up strong a little bit early. Hey, early is good, man. Thanks for showing up, brother. We appreciate you, man.
I
And
was so happy to see you, Sammy.
so I want you guys to just put out some positive energy. My sister Kelly's in the house. She said I'm Sweet's favorite sister. I don't know, man. I got a whole bunch of sisters, but yeah, you're at least tied for number one, sister. But tell Holly we all said hello. My sister Holly could use some positive vibes from everybody these days.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna air any dirty laundry. Not that her laundry's dirty. I mean, brother Doug was like, "Hey, man, can I start the dryer now?" I'm like, like in 3 minutes the podcast starts. You want to start the dryer now? Yeah, okay. Scooby
Well, you know
Wells
what?
is in the
We
house.
do we do what we can with this live podcast from our houses in Phoenix and Los Angeles. And every week there's a new adventure, but I think you didn't even say what I wanted you to say, and is that you had a tiny little setback yesterday where you ended up upside down and cracking your helmet.
Look, I'm turning pink.
So, I mean, that kind of set you back a little bit today, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
And on a
been rough.
podcast, any setbacks really can cause kind of a snowball effect. You know, when it's podcast day and we have a lot to do, um, recovering from a little crash is a little setback, and on top of other setbacks that have been happening lately. And what we want to hear from you guys in the comment box are about some of the setbacks that you've had recently and how you decided to move past them and move forward, because that's really what we're talking about is having setbacks and how to move forward, because we do believe that what we have here today is a very powerful topic of how to move forward after setbacks, and we're talking about the power of positive visualization and how to do it, what it is, how you can do it better, and its effects. It's proven by science to work. So if you're having setback right now, sit tight. We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there is a lot going on, and I appreciate all you guys being here because you guys are here because you know that what we're going to end up with is worth being a part of. But man, I've been having so many setbacks. It's been hard to get the ball rolling with the major. Just developing a routine in my life with these all of this heavy news. And yesterday,
Mhm.
so I took a corner a little too fast in the bike. Okay, I was a kamikaze bike rider yesterday, and there was one part where Truman went ahead of us. He's like, "Okay, guys." He's like, "I'm gonna go to this spot right here where this little turn is, and you're gonna see me, and just keep on cruising by. I'm just gonna get some good footage, for the website." And so I like waited and let everybody go in front of me, and then I just like flew past everybody, driving through the woods like a maniac. And I saw Truman. I like took this corner. No, actually, I slammed on the brakes to make sure that he was there because I was kind of going so fast I didn't even realize it was him. And I hit the brakes. I saw it was him. I was like, okay. And then I just like floated again, went straight down this hill to the right, and then back up a hill, and then a sharp right. And next thing I know, like thump, the thump, crack, 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 crack. I'm pretty sure like dominoes falling. I heard all of the vertebrae and my neck crack. My head hit the side of that hill so hard, broke. I literally
Mm.
broke the helmet. I broke
Oh
the
my
helmet,
gosh.
and
Did you have a little bit of like post traumatic stress when you heard your neck cracking?
the longest part of it was like when I realized that the bike was losing balance. From that
Hmm.
part, when your tummy starts to twist a little bit, until the till my head slapped the side of the hill, was the longest 1 millisecond of my life. I was like, you're not gonna be like, see, I told you it wasn't worth it. The guy's a dipshit, chases monkeys, gonna kill himself on a bike. Don't throw in.
Every negative thought you could think was thought during that 1 millisecond.
Oh my god! And then
Check this out. Sammy says, X game, here comes Swede.
I'm telling you, man. I was like, all the naysayers are going to be right if but I know that this isn't how I'm supposed to go. I know it's not.
Yeah.
So I was like, after the bike rolled over me and I was laying there, I can't move. Like, like the bike's
Mhm.
on top of me. I'm like, can't move. I can barely do a push up in my own bed, let alone
And I'm
like,
sure that bike is heavy, right? It's a big, heavy bike.
I don't know. I've never tried to lift it. Like, I have a completely different life than everybody else. I don't lift
Right.
shit. Like, I don't,
Right.
so I don't know how heavy that bike is. All I know is that I couldn't move. And so like and then I heard Truman come around the corner, and like I could see back. Luckily, like after I flipped over, I was like laying there with the bike on top of me. I could see up the pathway, and I saw him. He's like, "You all right?" And I was like, "I think I broke your bike." He's like, "I'm not worried about the bike. Are you okay?" He flipped me over. My legs were still in place. I was still I was like, it was like I rolled right back over. I didn't. It was like Weebles wobble, but they don't fall off bikes. He's
I
like pointing
kind
me
of
back
have
in the
the
direction.
feeling that you would have done this if we could have gotten you skiing. I have a feeling that this was just you just postponed this.
Oh, because you've seen me on skis. I'm way
Yeah.
more kamikaze on skis than I am on a bike. But no, for those of you from high country that are going to watch this episode, I promise you that I'll never put you in, in jeopardy again. I'm going to be really cool and easy on all of your equipment from now on. I just didn't think that bike was going to tip over like that.
That's sweet. He's gonna be cool and easy. You heard
Cool and
that.
easy, cool as a cucumber, easy as a sweezie. You have my word. You have my word.
Scott. I,
I should have pulled that. Oh my god! Oh my god! Something's wrong! Something's wrong! I can't
oh
feel my
my gosh,
legs.
look at this. Swede was D-Rex.
Oh, dun dun dun!
Oh my gosh, guys.
Jokes, jokes. They got jokes. No, seriously, it was somewhat traumatic. I don't know if I have any kind of
Mhm.
like post syndrome, but it was a very long millisecond, and then it took a long time for them to tip me back over. And then once I got back over and like started driving down the path again, I was like, everything's still working. Like, all
Oh.
systems are go. Like my arm was too. I got some scrapes on my side, like some pretty wretched cuts, and
Yeah, I
then
saw. Yeah, I saw.
yeah.
So, I
So
mean, I'd call that a small setback in comparison to getting sidelined in Texas with an unknown brain issue. So, I feel like, if I can say so, as your friend and someone who knows you, that you've been a little bit down lately. You've been kind of knocked sideways by these things.
yeah, I've been discouraged for sure. Got a heavy
Yeah.
heart, and
Mhm.
you know, like shit ain't easy, man. Shit ain't easy. Can I get a hell yeah for those of you in the comments that have challenges? It ain't always easy, and
Mhm.
you know this process is heavily involved, time consuming, and planning ahead has just been so far beyond me lately. And so, I feel like I'm letting those of you down that have invested your time in me, that I haven't been as nearly as productive as I should be. I've been trying to like follow my own advice, and and thankfully this has happened. Thankfully this has happened in our conversation about it. The information that you've shared with me that we're going to share with the audience.
Mhm.
Thankfully it's happened. So that you could help pull me out of it, and so we're going to share.
Okay. So let's share. Let's share right now. I was thinking when we were talking about this topic here of how to get out of your funk and how to start moving forward. I thought of a very old situation that I was in when I was in college. And I was in my first year of college, and my boyfriend was away at a different college in his second year of college. He blindsided me and broke up with my ass.
What, the dynamic D-Rex has been dumped?
Oh
No,
my gosh, I was just
get
so
out.
discarded. And I mean, I get it now. I get it now. But
I don't
at
get
the
it. What the hell's
time,
wrong with that guy?
oh, I was so destroyed. So destroyed that my two friends, Laura and Amy, they tried to take me out to our places that you go in college. Like, they take me to the Gap. And I'm on the bus, and I'm just crying on the bus. And I'm in the Gap, and I'm crying in the Gap. And I'm just so, like, focused on my loss, focused on everything that I imagined my future was going to be is just gone. I didn't know what to do. I'm just crying everywhere. It was embarrassing, but I just couldn't stop. I could not stop myself. It was like, when you see those videos of people rolling down hills. I was rolling down the hill of sadness. And I'm not quite sure what eventually got me out of it. Eventually, I had to come to terms with, oh, this is my life now, and I'm moving
You're like, fuck
forward.
this, I'm going to California.
I don't know what stopped me from rolling down that hill, but if I had had some of these tools I think it would have really helped. So let's talk a little bit about positive visualization, what it is and what it isn't. Okay. What it isn't is just telling someone, well, just be happy, just smile, right? Which is the worst thing. You never want anyone to say that to you. In fact, I think that's the big problem with that wonderful song, Don't Worry, Be Happy. I love that song. I loved it. But then I really started listening to it. I'm like, that's annoying. It's like the person, you're sad and you're like, but just smile, just feel happy. And that is not positive visualization.
It doesn't
So,
work either. It's like when you tell someone to
right.
calm down, they're not calm. They never calm
Yeah,
down.
that's
Jerry's
exactly
like
right.
that's Jerry's favorite example of shit that doesn't work. Like it could be something that's completely disconnected, has nothing to do with women or calming down. But if he wants
Hmm.
to give you an example, like sweet, it doesn't work. Like it's like telling a woman to calm down. Like it's like okay, it
It's
doesn't
true.
work.
It's true. But positive visualization is different. It's a technique where you're creating a mental image of yourself achieving some sort of goal. So it's not like you're just faking your happiness. You're imagining your future happiness. Okay. So that's different. It's a way of using your imagination to help you achieve your desired outcome. And this is, you know what, in my opinion, this is not that different from prayer or meditation. These are things that people use. This is not any different. It is not fake. It has been proven in scientific studies to work. Olympians use it to succeed in their sports, and it works. In fact, one time, my son, when he was young, I think he was like 9 or 10, he said he couldn't sleep. So he just kind of practiced air piano, and he just practiced like in his head at night. And the next day he could totally play the thing that he practiced.
Yes,
So
exactly.
it's a for real thing.
And when I confronted you with this dilemma, and your advice is overwhelming and outpouring, and we've talked about the Dispenza attitude and about how Joe Dispenza talks about positive visualization. But before we even get into that, like we've all heard it just in different terms, but there's a reason that we keep on hearing it over and over because it really does work. Like even if
Hmm.
you want to break it down to something as simple as seeing the ball go in when you shoot a basket,
Yeah.
visualizing that ball going in, it's never going to go in if every time you shoot, you imagine it going sideways, you know? So just like something as small as that, like being so true, it's like repeated and proof of life.
Yeah. And it works on tests, it works on having a good interview, getting a job.
Getting
So
a girl,
why getting a
imagine
girl? Is that what
yourself,
you said?
imagine yourself with if you see if you see a potential target, like when you're like a target, I sound like such a predator.
You're
But
such a creep.
you make eye contact with somebody, you're like, like you gotta imagine that it's gonna come true. That like like you're actually gonna get somewhere if you like imagine yourself, getting turned down. You're gonna walk up there with your tail between your legs. You're gonna get turned down. So like
Well, what is it that you always tell me?
it's a great day to be alive.
Well, that you do tell me that. You do tell me that. No, you always tell me you gotta believe.
Gotta believe. Gotta believe.
Yes, yes. And that's part of it, right? That visualization is helping you believe that that can be true. And if you decided instead to not focus on it going right, decide to focus on everything that's gone wrong, it's almost like what you're doing is you're creating a prayer or a meditation or an ask for everything to stay in that vibe and stay in that mode and give you more. Give me more of that thing, you know? So I think that when people say, well, I'm just being realistic. Well, I mean, is visualizing yourself succeeding unrealistic? I don't think it is. I think acknowledging the present is okay. You can do that. You can acknowledge reality, but you can't sit in it and you can't focus on it. You'll never get out of it.
Yeah, you this is so appropriate in so many ways. Me and Jay Brown were just chatting the other day, and he's talking about being a realist, and I'm talking about being an optimist. And they don't have to be opposites, and they can coexist. But you shouldn't choose to be one over the other.
Hmm.
Be a
Hmm.
realist and like accept and understand what things are likely to happen, but also be an optimist and hope for better. And if you don't believe that better will happen, it probably won't. And if you do believe that it won't happen, it probably won't. So, what's the point of believing that it's probably going to be shitty? I'd rather,
Hmm. Hmm.
this is relevant because D-Rex, because you honestly did snap me out of it. So that's why I'm so excited about talking about it because I have been kind of like under my own rug, and your reaffirmations and talking about it has like enabled me to like remember about you know starting with the end in mind and reverse engineering and focusing forward, because each day is going to come with challenge. Man, every single one of these days lately is full of it.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
man, without remembering why you're doing it and visualizing the positive outcomes, I mean, any little thing could be a derailment potentially.
Can we take a step back? And you mentioned Joe Dispenza. Some people might not be familiar with him, and I'd like to just put his name up here in case anybody wants to look him up. There's plenty of videos on YouTube of him talking. And this is a guy who overcame a spinal cord injury and uses the power of positive visualization very powerfully. And he teaches others to do it, and he's very inspiring. So if you want to check him out, please do. And it's someone that Sweden and I both kind of got into last year around this time, and it really changed things for our thinking patterns. And I think that the one thing that's really important that he says is I'm not going to phrase it right. This is not going to come out right because I don't have it written down. But it's kind of
No
like if you're
teleprompters
focused,
live.
what's that?
No
It's something about
teleprompters live on YouTube.
right, right. It's kind of like you have to imagine, you have to kind of live in the future you want, because if you're living in the past, that's all you're gonna get. You're gonna get more of that. And of course, I that was so not eloquent, but I really want you guys to check him out if you're interested in this stuff, because he will say it eloquently, and it's his ideas anyhow. It's not my ideas. They're my
Yeah,
ideas. I'd be able to.
I'm such a huge believer,
Hmm.
not only in the concepts, which are way they're not new concepts to any of us. It's just
No.
we might not always think of them as prayer, but people have been talking about praying our entire lives, and we don't always think of prayer being positive visualization, but it
Hmm.
is. But the way that Joe Dispenza goes about talking about it, and the fact that they're actually applying the scientific method and doing experimentation with students all around the world to
Hmm.
prove
Hmm.
that it works. Like we've all seen it work. We all know what the placebo effect is. That's us believing in something. And even if so the placebo is like the pill, the
Hmm.
sugar pill, right? Obviously, for those, if there's anybody out there that doesn't know about the placebo effect, it works. If you believe a pill can work, uh, a lot of times it will, even if it's not the actual pill. And it's positive visualization. It's the same type of chemistry. And the fact that Dispenza is around the world testing out this collective positive visualization, where he'll get people together in groups and have them meditate, and they can like communicate with each other from a meditative state, and have effects on the neighborhoods. Like there's they've got studies about this collective movement that they're doing all around the world, where um, when they have conducted a study where they had a large group doing this positive visualization together, and without alerting the authorities. And they did it like I think they did it like 9 major cities around the world. I don't have the details like are in front of me, but where after the fact they like tested the to see how the people that took part in it, how they felt about it. Everybody, um, you know, collectively agreed that they felt and understood. But the cool thing about it was that violent crime and like emergency calls were reported to had like dropped in all of these cities around the world where they are doing this collective positive visualization. How outrageous is that? That we actually have the ability as humans to communicate with each other beyond just talking, beyond about just making a mean face. But when we are putting out a vibe, we feel it, whether or not we as 2023 humans feel it, because like you were talking earlier about being overstimulated. But we
Mm-hmm,
have
mm-hmm.
the ability to communicate with each other above and beyond our verbal communications. And this guy is doing the science and proving it all around the world. And it's all the positive visualization and the prayer coming true and stuff like that. It's all ancient ways of understanding it. But the modern, cutting edge, nowadays technology way of understanding it is that we actually can, we have a bone, a calcium structure, a crystal structure in our brains, in our pituitary glands, that when we squeeze our spinal cord fluid in a way that we put pressure on this, the same way that you can put pressure on other crystals, it's the same concept that makes a quartz watch work. You can put pressure on this and it can project a frequency. The same way that when crickets rub their legs together, they project frequencies. And that even though we don't hear it per se, we do have the ability of feeling it. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it before here that when we cry and when we laugh and when we have orgasm are three ways that we do that. And you don't have to be crying to be angry. When you're angry and you feel that tension in your body, you're actually affecting that structure in our brain and sending out these vibes, feelings. It's outrageous the type of stuff that they're proving with science that's going on.
And a lot of things haven't even been tested. I think it's really important to keep in mind that there's a whole lot about life and about humans and about being on this earth that we just do not even we don't know it all. We don't know what we don't know. And I think it's important to keep an open mind about things. I think that maybe what I should do, because the things you're talking about is like your cerebral spinal fluid. And how about let's give some people some tips on how to do positive visualization besides, because they might not know how to squeeze their fluid. Okay.
That's the after party. My sister Kelly
I'd
said,
like to.
Kelly said, hell
Yeah,
yeah, I needed this
there's a
today.
lot of
Well,
people.
she already said that, but I'm bringing it up right after we talk about squeezing fluids.
So yeah, there's a whole lot of really great comments in here, and we are not ignoring you guys. We're just trying to get on the road with giving you some tips for this sort of stuff. So let's get to it. All right. Okay, so let's talk about the power of writing things down. You could start by writing a detailed description of yourself achieving your goal, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that might even be more powerful than just visualizing it.
I'm going to do that.
Because
I'm doing that. I'm putting a reminder in my calendar right now. Tomorrow morning, I'm writing down my agenda. I'm putting
oh
it.
yeah, well,
Go
me
ahead. Go
too.
ahead. Well,
Me
I have a
too.
serious agenda. I mean, yes.
I don't have my pencil here, but okay, both of us, we're going to do that. So writing, I feel, is pretty powerful, and a lot of successful people agree, including our own JFT, and Melanie too. And Melanie,
Yes.
who will be on next week, we will
Yes.
discuss her later. It's going to be so fun. So writing things down requires extra effort. You can sit in a chair and visualize something, and that is powerful. But the minute you have to take out a pencil and put it in your hand to paper and scribble out those letters, you are really putting intention into it. And I think that's why writing is so, so powerful. So that's definitely an easy way you could get started trying to visualize your goals. Start writing down your goals and achievements you want to make. You can create a vision board that includes images and words that represent your goals. This is something I actually do. You
Yeah,
might
I've
not
done
know
that.
this.
I didn't
You
do it
do?
recently, but I have done it, and it does help.
Do you do this with physical pictures? Because I do mine on Pinterest.
Actually, I did mine on PowerPoint, but
Oh,
same concept, I'm sure.
okay. Yeah. I mean, I go on Pinterest already just to look at recipes, but then I realized there's all these gorgeous pictures of places I want to go, things that I want in my life. And I started collecting them on a private board that nobody else can see. And every time I see an image, I'm like, that's what I want in my life. I put it on that board. And then anytime I find myself ruminating on things being hard or things not going right, I go to my Pinterest board and I just look at it. And it really does help. It helps keep
Oh
me
wow,
focused. So
that's
I
a great idea.
actually really, truly do use that and probably on a daily basis.
I like that.
And the third one is meditate on a positive image of yourself achieving your goal. And that's the positive visualization that we were talking about. So those are three ways you can get started. And if you can pick one that works for you, that can definitely put you on the road toward your goals, whatever your goals are. And it could just be getting away from your negative thoughts. That's a goal in itself.
And I'm happy to say, D-Rex, that we had no idea that we were going to make this a thing, or that this was going to be a topic one day. But you actually came at me, you know, back a year or so ago, and we were talking about Joe Dispenza, and we were
Mhm.
both kind of like really not blown away by the science that's involved. By the way, go get his book. We're not making any dough on Joe Dispenza, but man, highly recommend it for the community we're trying to build here.
Mhm.
The more you guys know about this guy, the more we're going to be have in common the way we think and feel, because the science behind what they're proving is spectacular. But you asked me last fall, you're like, I've been thinking about doing this, this 10 minutes a couple times a day thing to see, if I notice any positive results, would you want to try it with me? And I was like, hell yeah. And so
Mhm.
for that, a few weeks or even longer, maybe, where we were doing the 10 minutes in heaven thing regularly, man,
Yes.
I'm so glad that you encouraged me to do that this morning, because it reminded me how helpful it is. And I'm going to resume doing that regularly, because that just 10 minutes in heaven, just going and shutting everything down and off, closing your eyes and doing positive visualization in your
Mhm.
head, imagining all the things about yourself that you like. I've been starting with the end in mind for a long time, imagining myself later on in life, what I want to see happening, and like what I imagine myself to be like and be acting like. Um, been doing that for a while, but this 10 minutes in heaven thing, where it's like actual, like closing your mind off and like just imagining it almost as though it's already happening. Like when
That's
I'm
actually what Erin says right here. She speaks like it already happened and is happening. That is exactly what you're saying, and that's what you need to do. Go
closing
on.
my senses down. That's what Dispenza teaches, is clearing your thoughts, turning off, putting all of the energy in your body that is currently being devoted towards how your eyes work and your ears work, and all that, and feeling, and like trying to deactivate those energy expenditures and use that energy inward to try to actually imagine what you want out of the universe. And the theory is that if you get good enough at it, to where you're cutting all your energy off towards your senses, and you're putting your energy into your manifesting, that somehow that it has this way of communicating that through these other, physical means, to other humans and into the universe. And whether you want to call it prayers coming true, or you want to call it just simply believing and having it coincidentally
Mhm.
come true, it feels better. You feel good after you do it, when you open your eyes back up, and you just got them hanging out with your extremely wealthy and handsome, by the way, younger self. Yeah. So what if I imagine myself looking younger when I'm older? Can I live? But still, I do, man.
I
I
actually
do.
like to imagine myself older so that I can appreciate what I look like now. I like to imagine that I'm 80 and I'm looking at myself. Look how young she is.
Oh
She's so
my
young
God.
and fresh.
That reminds me, y'all, go to unblogyourself.com or unblog yourself on YouTube. T-Rex, me and Carol were checking you out the other day, and we saw your video where you're talking, where you put your 85-year-old self up there, and you were talking about, about appreciating your youth while you have it, because there's an older version of you out there that's gonna be like remembering when you were this age, being like, oh my God, I had it made back then. It was so much easier. We
Yes,
laughed. We kept
yes.
rewinding and watching it over that 85-year-old version of you popping up and like, unblock
That's
yourself,
how I
y'all.
think.
D-Rex, you
Oh,
are
thanks.
killing it on YouTube. That channel is spectacular, y'all. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. I don't know why D-Rex doesn't want to promote it more, because she's trying to like take over the world in secret or something, but it's spectacular. Like, I'm not even a woman, and I take on a lot of your advice. So it's
Well,
definitely
thank
worth
you.
checking.
Thank you. I'm definitely having fun with that channel. But I'd like to pop a comment up on screen. I like the way this is written. A setback is a set up for a comeback.
Hell
Forward is
yeah.
forward.
I like it.
Forward is
Same.
forward. That's what I like that. I like how any movement forward is forward, right? We always talk about that phrase, that saying, how do you eat an elephant, right? We're always saying that. We always have so many elephants to eat, and we eat them one bite at a time, right? Forward is
Absolutely.
forward.
Doesn't it? I hope that there's going to be a time where we get acknowledged for the consistency of our message. It ain't easy, but getting busy living is worth it. When I was
Mhm.
feeling earlier somewhat setback and discouraged about something that has completely not even has anything to do with what we've been talking about, I talked myself into having a small victory. Just give yourself a small victory. Do some bend over, stretch a little bit, do some push-ups. Obviously, I can't do push-ups, but I do arm raises. Like, okay, small victories, small victories.
Yes, yes.
I know that by doing this, I am putting a little bit of effort into having some cool, good-looking shoulders. So
Cool.
small victories. I'm like, okay, I gotta get my mind right.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, you kind of like poking a little bit of fun earlier about the um, how you can't just nobody likes to likes to be told, don't worry, be happy, just smile, and that'll make everything better. It doesn't make everything better, but it's crazy how, if you notice yourself feeling shitty and worrying, because I was talking about, how not to worry, you can actually just smile and take inventory of how that does make you feel a little bit better. It does. And so I'll do like arm raise. I can't move. I can't do like toe touches. Like, stop making fun. So I'll do arm raises, and like I know that like
Mhm.
it's not like I'm like, oh, this is actually going to make my shoulders better. But if I did enough of them, it would. The point is that get yourself a small victory, get your mind thinking right, and imagine that it's going to get better, and then just it will. It does. I
And you
mean,
know what? I was actually reading a bit on this, and like, what are the pros and cons of thinking about the goal in mind or ruminating on what went wrong? And when you are doing your positive visualization and you're thinking about what can go right from now on, it brings you happier feelings. And those happier feelings propel you forward in a positive way. And if you're ruminating on what went wrong and you're stuck in that mode, it brings you negative feelings. And those negative feelings can often cause you to choose temporary fixes, drugs, alcohol, any sort of bad behavior that kind of covers up what's underneath. So there's many reasons why concentrating on the positive is healthier for you, and not only that, it reduces your stress. And concentrating on what went wrong increases your stress. So why would you purposely choose to ruminate unless you're trying to punish yourself? And in that case, it doesn't do you any good anyhow.
for real, I've said many times, don't spend 1 second doing something that's not going to get you to your better version of life. And man, it's been tough with these setbacks lately, but I'm so glad that you helped me remember, this. basic fundamental attitude, demeanor towards life is just focus on the positives, think about the bigger picture, have a purpose in life, and know that even though this moment might be a little bit uncomfortable, it's not forever. And I'm glad that that you brought it in this manner, because Joe Dispenza, one of the things I definitely wanted to cover that he talks about is how we have this tendency to reset ourselves every morning by remembering what we were thinking about when we went to sleep, remembering what we have to do today. And then we think about what the day of the week it is. And then you think about what usually happens on this day of the week. And it's all in an effort to of risk avoidance. Like we have ourselves so perpetually trained to be in a risk avoidance mode and a survival mode that we're always thinking about the past, like what happened in the past and what do I got to do to avoid the past? And you end up recreating your past every day and reliving your past. And it's this self-perpetuating model of just kind of living through the same repeated life all the time. And he talks so much about how you got to desensitize, positively imagine what you want to happen instead of living in the past all the time. Think about the future. And when you wake up out of that little 10 minutes in heaven, you're not worried about the past. You're actually believing in what could possibly happen in the future.
And you're more willing to work toward it. Yeah.
Exactly. That not only do you find yourself spending 10 minutes of joy, you get that actual 10 minutes work, that 10 minutes counts. You do come out of it feeling better. But the thing is that now you're in a good mood. You got some wind in your sail, and you're thinking about the better aspects. And when you're thinking about those things, they tend to happen. It's not a mistake. It's not an accident. People have been believing and knowing about
definitely
this.
not a coincidence. Yeah. And, I like what you said about keeping the thoughts positive. When you're in that meditation, it's important to use positive language. In fact, I have a list of, it's not a huge list, it's just a couple of things. Some visualization tips. So when you are doing this, you want to be specific about what you want. You don't want a general ask like, I just want to be happy. What are some things that you want that are going to make you happy? Things that you can do with your life or things that you want to have in your life. Be specific.
Yes, it's that specificity that I'm referring to when I said I imagined myself more handsome and younger. Very specific. Like you actually have to imagine, what are you wearing? Where are you? Are you at the park? Just hanging out with a bunch of your folks, like eating and drinking and being merry? Are you at a show? Are you on a tour? Like, are you on a trip? Are you scuba diving? Are you lounging on the back patio? Be specific, but imagine the way you're feeling, what you're thinking about, what you're wearing, the weather. Imagine the whole thing within as much detail as you can. And if you make it a point to be very, very specific about it, that's how the positive impact happens. Because after you're done, because while you're imagining those specific aspects, the emotions of that imagination are happening. And that's where you're creating this feeling when you're doing it.
And I think you said something important there is that while you're doing this visualization, it's really important to feel the feeling of already having that. When you are imagining having what you're envisioning, you need to feel the emotions as if you have it. And that's an important part of the process. And that's why it's important. The second step here is make it positive. Because it's easy to say, well, I don't want any more of this. I don't want any more of this. But that's a negative statement. I don't want this. What you want to do is you want to focus on I do want this, because when you're focused on I don't want this, you're actually focused on that thing. And what you're doing is you're visualizing that thing. That's not what you want. So make sure you're not saying what I don't want. You want what you do want. That's important.
Indeed. He actually talks about the absolute value. When you think of something, the universe doesn't think if you're thinking, the universe doesn't know if you're thinking yes or no about it. It just knows that you're thinking about it. So if you imagine bad things, the universe doesn't know that they're bad. It just feels the imagination of the thing. That's why it's important that you are specific about it and that what you're thinking about is positive and that it's a good thing.
Yeah. So that's super important, that it's positive, you're really feeling it, it's very specific, and that you see yourself and feel yourself succeeding. And another thing is that you do it regularly. Of course, you can do it once and then forget about it, but it really keeps you in the right mindset when you do it regularly. So, what are we going to do when we take out our pencil tomorrow and we write our goals down, Swede? I guess we're going to continue to do it. We're not going to let it slide again. We're
This
going
is
to.
not lip service, D-Rex. I'm telling you, it really did help me last summer when you
I know.
recommended doing it regularly. And I really, y'all, this is real life. I mean, I really have been struggling. And thanks to this woman, I really have been better and pulled out of it because of the reminders. And, I mean, I know that I've been, thanks to the influence of my friends, uh, able to surround myself with people throughout life that have also been getting busy living. And it's kind of been somewhat of an unofficial MO about being motivated and living a purposeful, deliberate, intentional life. But it's not that it doesn't just come out of me naturally all the time. I also, fall over and get set back. And man, having this purpose, having this end in mind, and knowing that this is the ultimate goal, and just thinking about that helps get past it, helps put the worry aside. It's not forever, it's just for now, just for a second. Think positive, believe, and continue pushing forward. And I feel so much better after a day like this, seriously.
Mm-hmm. And for anybody who might not know, and I think most people do know that are here right now, Swede and I have been friends for a very, very long time.
Oh damn, she brought it out.
I saw it there in my files. I'm like, why not bring it up? Because we were just talking about our friendship, and it's been going on a very, very long time.
So how you were mentioning a little story. My story is I remember when I was driving towards LA with Lyric. We went there spontaneously. Had no idea that we were going to be going there. And on the way there, I was like, "Oh, I haven't talked to Diana in a minute. Let's hit her up." And after we made the arrangements and came and caught up with you, I don't know if I ever told you this, but when we were leaving, Lyric was like, "She's so cool. Like, I am going to live in this city and we are going to be friends."
Well, I
Now,
hope that becomes true.
she's she's not long for where she's at, if I understand correctly. I don't know. She's very much like me. She could move in any minute, and so there's no telling. But I would be surprised if she was in California at some point, because I
Well,
know
my
the way that you were describing it, she was really feeling it for sure. She loved it.
I do love it here, and I really could probably love it just about anywhere. I think that I'm a pretty optimistic person, but I certainly do have my setbacks even in this place. I do love living here, and I love looking at my window and seeing Griffith Park here, and I do love that it's temperate most of the year. But man, when how hot things can get, they get way hotter in Phoenix. I can get beaten down and kind of forget that I am a happy, optimistic person. And man, I use that power of visualization about the end of September when I've had enough here. I need to imagine that fall will be here soon. And I imagine myself wearing my boots and my sweaters, and I am much happier. It's the only way I get through the end of summer here.
Oh
Positive
man.
visualization, man. There's definitely nothing wrong with putting that into your daily routine.
And funny you mentioned that. And I know that we're running out of time, but
Oh,
this whole living in Phoenix thing, when I think about my life before and compared to my life now, I can't help thinking that, my condition is not the only thing that is causing a little bit of, you know, I don't know, negativity from time to time. I remember that living so close to the beach when I was in Florida for 15 years, had such a good impact on me in that
Mm-hmm.
at any given moment, I could just go down to the waterfront and just for some reason, being near the water has a very calming effect on me. And there's a reason that Lyric and I have sunsets in our history because we spent so much time just going down and sitting on the sand and watching the sun go down. And what are you doing the whole time when you're there? You're dreaming. You know, like the sunset somehow has this effect on me where it just makes you think about the possibilities. You know, like tomorrow, like the sun setting to me makes me think about tomorrow. No, no, don't get me wrong. It's a period of reflection too. You think about the day also, but sunsets for me historically have always made me think about the possibilities. You know, and living in that environment where I was able to go down to the waterfront and just like whether it was with my daughter when she was younger or even later before I left there when she was choosing to go off with the cheerleading friends and I was left to my own devices, I would go down to the beach and just relax and watch the sunset and have positive visualization moments, man. It's such a powerful thing, and I'm so glad that we got back to this, because I really think that for getting busy living, you're gonna have setbacks. Um, whether you've figured out a way to make all your financial obligations work out, and you have the money to get busy living. There's always gonna be things in life that can set you back, and having that default mechanism to just believe and go back to remembering is so helpful. And I'm so much more enthusiastic now after we've gone back over this topic.
Yes, yes, we're getting back to it, and it's okay to fall off the visualization wagon for a little bit. That's human, but it's good to have friends to get you back into that wagon.
Speaking of friends, for some reason I haven't been able to see all of the comments that are here. I think I got like a I think I screwed up my technicalities. I need an IT guy here on call at all times because I can't find the comments. Does anybody know what happens when the comments are missing?
Well, do you want me to pop some up on screen?
Well, I just really want to say that for those of you that have spent a lot of time with me or that have invested in me since I've been granted the second lease, that I appreciate that you guys have and continue to, and I realize that that um, I haven't performed at high productivity at all times, like I've like given you the reason to believe that I would. Um, but I appreciate you coming back, and I appreciate you sticking with me, D-Rex. Um,
Always.
it ain't easy being Sweezy, but I do believe, I do believe, and I am positive that the things that we visualize together are going to manifest, and they will come true. Just 45 more months until the huge, huge party. We got so much fun to have in the meantime.
Yeah, you better get ready. Putting that bike on my car right now.
Speaking of getting ready, you're going to be visiting this summer. I've got some other key personnel visiting this summer, and then
Mhm.
football season happens. The rest of this year is going to be epic. So please keep on coming
Absolutely.
back every Thursday, and we're gonna keep you up to date on what's going to happen each week. As I get this routine better and I snap into it, this production is gonna improve. But I appreciate you sticking out with me, D-Rex, for sure.
And I appreciate our audience showing up and sticking it out with us too. We're having so much fun with you. And I just want to end with this one comment. I like this. Aaron says, "We got to be easy on us. Why are we so hard on ourselves?" And maybe that's an entire podcast, right?
Wow. Yeah. Well, I got beat up a little bit yesterday. I got a scraped up elbow. I've got a wounded amount of energy, but thanks to the relentless attitude that you have, D-Rex, and the team I have around me at my house, I'm going to keep on coming back. So I hope you guys keep on coming back.
One might say that we're all in this together.
Hell yeah. Always remember, no matter the weather, whether sunshine or rain, there's no joy without pain. Always remember, we're all in this together. Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
see me. But